And all of a sudden I stopped dead, because dead center in the middle of my vision board from years earlier, I had drawn a picture of me sitting across the table from a well-known actor. How do I enhance my craft? How do I learn something different? You know, one of my favorite actors is Keanu Reeves. Yeah. And if you study him and you see the work he puts into every character, the work he puts in behind the scenes. You know, I even got to meet him personally one time.
Really?
And
I heard he's a really nice guy.
He is. And picture this, out of not supposed to have happened, but I ended up doing a 30-second dialogue with him. And it blew me away, because he came to one of my trainings quietly. We couldn't let anybody know he was there, because the filmmaker, the director that wanted to have him in a movie, he was in Vancouver, BC, in Canada here. He was there filming a movie. And there was a director who wanted Keanu to be a star of his upcoming movies. And it had to do, part of it was with the training industry. So they arranged to come to our training to learn about the training industry. And I was the trainer doing it. So we had the director, we had a writer, and we had Keanu Reeves. And once I got my assistant, I had an assistant trainer. He was training. We had about 900 students in the audience. It was a 3-day, very intensive weekend. And so we then quietly slid in behind, and we're in the audio visual booth, and we're watching. And they're leaning over, whispering, asking me questions. I'm explaining. And we went back into the office and we're talking. And the director was saying, you know, here's the scenario. He's an arrogant trainer that loses everything. He loses his career, his wife, his family don't want to talk to him because he's just ego. And he asked me a question. He said, how would you handle that if one of your trainers was acting that way? And what's interesting, Nick, is I was clueless, because in my mind, I'm going, no one would ever be a trainer with me if that's how they were, because that's just not what I do. So I looked at him and said, well, I would never have a trainer like that. And the director's sitting to my right, but Keanu Reeves is right across the table from him. And he's just quietly listening. He's dressed like Neo, 6'3", dressed like Neo, and just calm, quiet, and very casual, right? Very, like you said, super nice guy. And he's listening to me talk. The director's like, no. If you had a really ignorant, arrogant trainer, how would you handle that? And I'm like, I would never have a trainer that way. Nick, I wasn't getting it. And after going back and forth for a couple moments, all of a sudden, Keanu Reeves snaps into character. And he looked at me and he barked at me and he said something, and I don't know why, but I turned to him and I'm like, it's because you fucked up. And the next thing you know, we're back and forth for about 30 seconds doing this dialogue. And the writer's going, that's it. That's exactly what I want. We stop. I'm vibrating. And all I can think to do is to reach over the table and high five Keanu Reeves, and hopefully he high fives me back. And he did. And I'm just sitting there like, oh, what just happened? It was phenomenal, right? What's cool is that particular training, I was actually teaching people how to find what they're passionate about. The whole weekend was about showing them how to tap into their passion and make money doing what they love. And one of the big things we do is we create vision boards right there in the weekend. And as an example, the next day, so Keanu Reeves is gone. What a great experience. I get to finally tell my students what's going on.
Yeah.
And we're about to do the mission or the vision boards and the vision boards. And I go to hold up one I did a couple of years earlier as an example. And all of a sudden I stopped dead, because dead center in the middle of my vision board from years earlier, I had drawn a picture of me sitting across the table from a well-known actor doing a dialogue, because wow. I wanted to act as one of my passions. And all of a sudden I'm sitting there and I'm like, because I had forgot about that dream.
Wow.
And here I was, I had just done a dialogue with one of the top actors in the world, especially at that time.
What's the name of that movie? I want to watch it now.
I don't think it ever came out.
Oh.
Because I watched for it, and you know that some movies just never make it.
Yeah.
And they never get done. But the premise was he was a trainer that loses everything, and he finds his passion of golf, which he always loved golf and he was good at it. And he became he started teaching people golf, and from teaching them golf, he became more centered and calm and regained his life back. So, you know, I watched for it and I never saw that movie come out.
Yeah, that's the thing with movies, especially you can have the most amazing script and everyone's on board. You have full production crew, You got the actors, you have everyone's on board, and then something happens, and then the whole project just falls apart, and it never gets made.
Yeah.
That happens to so many
Yeah.
good movies. They call it production hell.
Oh, I can only imagine. That
Yeah.
would frustrate the heck out of me.
Yeah. There's like so many like good TV shows that it took like 20 years to actually make. Do you know Queen's Gambit? I haven't watched it, but apparently it took like 30 years for them to actually get everything together, script, cast, and they went through multiple directors, multiple writers, and then it finally
Wow.
got made like 2019.
Yeah, I've heard of it as well. I haven't watched it myself, but I've heard a lot of things, great things about it. And that's it. And see what you just described though too is a perfect example of people's lives. Right now, a lot of people in South Africa are in production hell because they know they want more, they want a job, they want to get going better, but it just doesn't seem to be working. But if you keep at it, if you keep your focus on your pen, you take one step at a time, you won't know when something all of a sudden finally clicks in.
Catch full episodes of Into the Muse on Spotify, Anchor FM, and Apple Podcasts. Into the Muse on Spotify, Anchor FM,